I probably should get an intro or something, because just coming in talking just probably throws a lot of people off guard. But that's all right. Today, whenever you're listening to this, I don't care, because I don't even want to date this, because this type of information is timeless. Do you understand me? We need to talk about a few things. And the main thing that we're going to talk about is foot soldiers versus generals. We're going to break down the difference in the importance of foot soldiers and the difference in the importance of generals. And we need to understand that this is not just in the physical aspect of it. This is in the mental aspect of it. We're going to break that whole thing down. But before we get to that, I want to touch on something that may be a bit dated, but that's okay. Because, again, I want all timeless episodes. That's why I don't even put numbers next to my episodes. I don't even want y'all to know what order to listen to them in. Wherever you listen to them, it's always great time to listen to them. So I'm not even going to put an episode number next to my podcast anymore. So that's just how I get down going forward, because it's important that this information remains timeless. I don't want to date it. I don't want to make it anything less than, this is something that you should be listening to regardless of the time or the aspect of it, whatever. I don't even care about none of that. So with that being said, every time I get on this goddamn thing, something goes wrong with my damn, to be honest with you, it's my screensaver. And I need to figure this out, because it's going to drive me up the wall when I'm talking and my screen goes black. And then I think that it's not recording or something. So that's why, I don't know why it does that, but maybe it's a power sleep mode thing. Turn off after 2 hours. No. I'll figure it out after this. I'll figure it out. At this point, I'll just keep shaking the mouse and go with that, and I'll figure it out afterwards. Anyway, let's get to it, because I'm not going to hold y'all too long. But I'm going to hit you over the head with a lot of information, so make sure you are paying attention. First and foremost, like I told y'all before, how this always happens, anytime you want something to be demonized, you have to put a black face on it. COVID-19, for those of you that don't know, this will go down in the history book, so I guess it won't be so dated, but I want to talk about y'all while we're in it. COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. Initially, there was rumors that black people were not completely immune, but mostly immune, or it was not hitting them at the same level it was hitting everyone else. Within 3 weeks of that being said, all of a sudden, black people are dying at the most alarming rate due to the coronavirus. Now, I was on Twitter and I was breaking down, if those of you that don't follow me on Twitter, it's really Marv. ITSREALLYMARV. Make sure you're following me. It's important that you do so. Yes, I like to clown around and have fun on Twitter, but I do go on threads where I'm dropping nothing but jewels, so make sure you pay attention to that as well. You can have your fun and you can drop knowledge. It's okay. I know some people like to tell you that some people can't do that, but I am very well versed at doing that, and I will continue to do that, because I will be nothing less than myself. Nevertheless, we were initially told, or the numbers were coming out, that it wasn't affecting black people that much. Now, all of a sudden, it is affecting black people the most. Now, when the Asians were being inconvenienced due to the coronavirus, the Asian community, Chinese community, in particular, because they said it came from something China. I don't know, one of these Chinese countries or whatever. When they were being inconvenienced at the time, name calling, people not buying their food, the left, Democrat, liberals, whatever you want to call them, were immediately talking about giving them some type of financial assistance, a stimulus package to make sure they are taken care of while they're going through this crisis. Now that the media has spun this whole thing and turned it into a blackface, that black people are the ones who are dying from this, I do not hear a single politician talking about paying money or giving money to the black community for their deaths rather than minor inconveniences. These are the same people who, when the trillions of dollars was dashed out for the stimulus package, the first round of stimulus package, they made sure they included illegal immigrants and non-tax paying citizens. They make sure they were getting included in their stimulus package. These are the same people who know that these small businesses are being crippled by such a coronavirus, and they did nothing for these small businesses besides say, hey, we're going to give you a loan if we can get to us. So we're dealing with these people who have outright hatred for us. It is not even disdain. It's not benign and neglect anymore. It is anti-black racism. It is anti-black hatred, and we specify saying anti-black because they do not do this to any other particular group the way they do it to us. So we must understand that. We must understand it is not done to anyone else the way it's done to us. There is an entire group of people who are getting name calls, and people stopped shopping at their restaurants, and they were ready to cut a check within a week of that being notified. They have even set up a hotline. They set up a hotline in New York City where you can report Asian discrimination directly on that hotline. There is not a single hotline in New York City or in the state of New York or in the rest of the country that has a hotline for when there's anti-black racism being practiced. We are the same people who grandparents were being swung from trees. Great uncles, great aunts were being swung from trees just about, 60 years ago. Shit, beyond. I mean, it's been sooner than 60 years. I'm being liberal with the number. Our ancestors were being swung from trees. Photos were being taken, and this shit was sent around like a fucking postcard around the country. And they have set up not a single bit of financial assistance. None. There's not a single hotline where we can report anti-black discrimination, anti-black racism, anti-black violence. There's not a single one. Where is our hotline? Where is it? We don't have one. They're not going to give us one because I told y'all they don't give a fuck about us. Enough of this begging, enough of this pleading, enough of this go along to get along shit. That shit does not matter. It won't happen. It is not beneficial to us in any way, shape, or form. There will be no go along to get along. There is none of that. There's anti-black racism, and then there's everyone else. Then there's minorities. There's black people, foundational black Americans, then there's minorities. There's foundational black Americans, there's black Americans, foundational black Americans are the same people, black Americans, foundational black Americans, and then there's everyone else. There's the minorities, there's the whites, the Asians, the Jewish, whatever you want to group those other people in, the Hispanics, the Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, however y'all want to group yourselves up, do it. But you're not going to group yourselves with the foundational black Americans, the American descendants of slaves. You're not grouping yourself with us. We're a lineage. We're a small lineage. We're a very unique lineage. You're not treated the same as us. You won't ever be treated the same as us. Because at the end of the day, if they get tired of your asses, they can ship y'all back home. They can't ship us anywhere. We're foundational. This is our land too. Until we demand that level of respect and demand that type of political participation, we won't see anything go forward. We're doing it now, though. Let me be very clear. We're doing it now, and we're showing our asses, too. Bernie Sanders dropped out of the presidential race. That is it for him. His presidential aspirations are gone. They're done. They're over with. He's in his 80s. This man is not going for another presidential run. He's finished. Who's going to pick up his baton? I don't know. But if they do not have a black agenda, they will crumble the same way he did two runs in a row. They will crumble. Bernie has outright said he will not give reparations to black people, but he was the first to sign on for reparations for the Chinese community. Not the first, but he was one of the first. He outspoken about it. Go check his Twitter. Andrew Yang was ready to give up that cash, but he specifically said he's not willing to give up cash to the black community. Kamala Harris, same thing. These same people who sat their asses up and said they will not give direct cash to the black community are the same people who were willing to cut a check for illegal immigrants and the Chinese community who was inconvenienced by a virus that came from their home country. Whether it was justified inconvenience or not, I'm not here to argue that. They were inconvenienced and they were willing to cut a check. We've been getting murdered for 500 years and no one won't even talk about a check that we're owed. It ain't like we're not asking, we're not begging, we're not having our hand out, we're not looking for a handout. We're owed the fucking money. It's an invoice. It's an invoice. Invoice for work and blood that's already been shed. Blood that's been done. Work that's been done, excuse me. Blood that's been shed. It's an invoice for that. It's an invoice. So I need you to understand that. I need you to understand that. It's an invoice. And until you do, until you act like it's an invoice, don't act like you're begging for anything. Don't act like you're getting a favor from the government. Don't act like you're getting a favor from anyone when you say you demand your reparations. Act like somebody asked you for a ride somewhere and they said they'll pay you and they didn't pay you. And now they're telling you they won't pay you. Act like you gave somebody some money to help pay their rent. You loan somebody some money to pay their rent or pay a bill. They said they'll pay you back and they don't pay you. It's owed to you. And until you get that through your thick ass head, and I know it may not be y'all, but I'm saying in general, if you listen to somebody, if you need to talk to somebody, understand that. But until you get that through your thick ass head and understand that, then that's when you can act accordingly. The money is owed. This coronavirus has shown us the government can go get the money. They love saying they ain't got it, but they can go get the money. They love pulling that, we ain't got it, we can't afford it, no one would ever agree to it. But in the stroke of a pen, they was willing to chop out $6 trillion. Because it actually turns out to be $6 trillion over, I think, two or three different bills. And they're going to do another one, if I'm not mistaken? Come on. Stop playing. Don't play with me. Come on, man. So like I said, they put a black face on the coronavirus so they can try and scare black people, of course. They can excuse why black people are dying again, of course. They want to kill us again, of course. This is not a surprise. We should not be unused to this. This is normal activity. This is the standard of the American politics and American health system. How it does black people has always been a crime. It should have been investigated by the people love talking about, let's go to the United Nations. United Nations don't give a fuck about black Americans. We are representatives of America. So what the fuck is the United Nations going to do? Africa ain't going to do shit. They ain't going to do shit. Y'all want the French to do something? Who y'all want? Italy? Who y'all want? Germany? Who y'all want to do something? Who do y'all want to do something? We got to do it ourselves. We got a political system that we can work with, that we have been showing our asses with. They're trying to make illegal immigrant citizens. We need to fight against that at all costs. Even if it means joining the Republicans in that particular cause, then we need to do it. We can't be one issue ponies. We can't be tricked into thinking that somebody else is going to do something for us more than the next, because neither one of them going to do shit. So we might as well go ahead and deal with them on an issue-by-issue basis. When we agree with a particular party on a particular issue, we side with them on that. When we agree with another particular party on a particular issue, we side with them on that. But we don't give them shit until they give us what we are owed. Now, with that being said, that actually rolls me right into my next subject, the main topic of today. And that is foot soldiers versus generals. I'm going to take my retainers out because I want to be very clear when I speak about this. Again, I told you I'm not going to hold y'all long. Some people are meant to be foot soldiers. Some people are meant to be generals. Even though it shouldn't have taken this, I am going to draw a line of demarcation. This line is going to be 2016. When the black community, for the most part, the most we've seen in quite a long time, were woken up. This is why I have to always tell people I'm not mad that Donald Trump is the president. In hindsight, this is what needed to happen. It took for somebody like Donald Trump to be openly a bigot, openly racist, openly anti-black, anti-everything except white men. For a lot of y'all to understand that racism was never erased from this country. It wasn't in little small pockets. It wasn't in the middle of America. Racism is throughout America. It's entrenched in its culture. Without racism, America wouldn't have a culture. So, with that being said, 2016 brought on a lot of black people's awakening. See, they were asleep because Obama was the president. They're like, man, we got a black man as president. We got to be making progress. You know, from 2008 to 2012, 2016, everything was so good, so peachy, so lovely. And then America showed you its ass. Stole the election from Bernie Sanders to give Hillary the nomination. Then they went on and they elected Donald Trump. Fucking reality TV star. A billionaire. A bigot. He's so close to racism, his father was in the Ku Klux Klan. His father got arrested in Queens for that shit. And you telling me none of that seeped down into his son? Are you fucking nuts? Are you kidding me? So like I said, foot soldiers and generals. So let me explain to y'all why I use that as a line of demarcation. In 2016, if that's what it took for you to wake up and realize that racism is still alive and well and thriving in America, you have the mentality of a foot soldier. See, because foot soldiers only move when a danger is seen. Foot soldiers are only ready to move when they're told to move. Foot soldiers only move when there's an attack that happens. You see, the foot soldiers ain't never ready when it's calm. When it's calm, the foot soldiers is doing what foot soldiers do. They cleaning up the bathrooms and making sure their boots is clean and making sure their wheels is oiled just in case something happens. The foot soldiers is laughing, having a good time, enjoying themselves, celebratory beers, you know, the whole 9 yards. They chilling, getting fat, getting juicy in the middle. That's what the foot soldiers doing. Mentally, that's what they're doing. This is all a mentality. You're a foot soldier by mentality. You understand me? So when Obama's in office, you think life is good, everything's sweet. We about to be chilling for the next 8 years. Nothing gonna happen. We all good. Little did you know that people were dying black folks was dying at an alarming rate. We had Trayvon Martin. We had Tamir Rice. We had Eric Gardner. You know what I mean? We had so many black people, especially the ones that were really highlighted. Sandra Bland, in particular. I want to make sure I speak on that sister because she was a fucking rider. So many black people dying right under the nose of Obama, but y'all think racism isn't alive and well and thriving in America. Those were isolated incidents to you. To a foot soldier, that was isolated incidents. But the generals knew how America got down. The generals knew. See, the first term with Obama, I was 18 years old, first time able to vote. It was no question I was voting for a black man, just off the principle he was black. I didn't care about his policies, none of that shit. He was a Democrat. He was black. That was enough for me. But that second term, I was like, a lot of shit happening with this man. Racism done got ramped up. He ain't really doing shit for the black community. We didn't demand shit, to be completely honest. But again, I was young and dumb. Excuse my ignorance at that point. I started beating a little drum. I still voted for him for the second time because I wasn't putting Mitt Romney in office. But my suspicions and my antennas went up at the tender age of 22. At this point, I'm getting ready to buy a house. Financially, I'm growing. I'm no longer that kid from the hood, living in the hood, broke, poor, desolate. I'm starting to realize some things about these Democrats and about these black faces in offices and things of that nature. I'm waking up to it. Then I saw it hitting colors. I was like, oh, shit. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. And that's when I really started shaking the table. That's when I really started getting on my radio for Soul Shock Radio. I miss Soul Shock Radio. When I started getting on there and I really started getting in their asses. When I had politicians, local politicians that was running for office coming to me to do interviews, telling me what they're going to do with the community. That's the platform that I build and I was helped build. Shout out to Kenny, shout out to Jay Myron, man. Shout out to man, listen. A general understands the importance of his team around him. A general always is prepared, always is ready, and always know what's really going on behind all the hearts and flowers. A general makes sure he keeps on his square. A general never lets up on system of white supremacy and the system of anti-black racism. I never let up, ever. I remember at 10 years old, I tell you this all the time, my friend called me a Black Panther because I was always on it. Always on my square. I never let up. That's why I'm out here talking to y'all, telling y'all, we discussing. I'm opening up the conversation pockets because we need to discuss these kind of things. Generals handle business. Generals make sure he keeps the soldiers in line. Make sure the soldiers stay afoot. People hit my line all the time. Yo, what's going on with this, that, and the third? Yo, how you feel about this, that, and the third? It's the reason why they come to me, whether I'm younger than them or if I'm older than them. They come to me for a reason because they know I stay on my square. I'm always on my square. Ask my brothers if they want to say, go to them, my brothers be like, yo, man, who do I talk to if I want to get some information on this, this, and this? I guarantee you they send you to me. Because as a general, I'm always up on it. I'm always learning. As a general, I understand that I need to learn from other generals. I'm a new general. I understand I need to learn from the older ones. The ones who've been doing this longer. The ones who know more than I do. I need to go learn from them, soak up game from them, and then bring that back to my people. Bring that back to my base is what we'll call that. Because in the military, the generals all go meet up in Washington, D.C. or in Maryland or whatever the case may be. They go to the Pentagon or whatever the case may be. They go meet up. They go share information with each other. And then they take that information back to their base that they're in command of and disseminate that information down their ranks, all the way down to the foot soldiers. It's called a chain of command. Remember I talked about that? Go find that episode, Chain of Command. Go find an episode where I talk about a chain of command. So you need to ask yourself, are you a general? Are you a foot soldier? And you need to be honest with yourself because that's the only way you can help the community. If you can't be honest with yourself and say, yo, you know what? I mean, I got on a little late, man. I wasn't really focused on that because, I just didn't focus on it because I had a lot going on. I was doing this, I was doing that. So, at this point, I'm a foot soldier. I want to get to the point of a general, because, foot soldiers become generals. But you need to be honest with yourself because up until I didn't become a general until recently. You know what I'm saying? I had to ascend to that ranks. Not recently, but, you know, I was more of a younger one. But I was a foot soldier before that. I was going up the ranks. I was a soldier. I might have been a sergeant, to be honest with you, because my friend called me a Black Panther because I was on that pro-black shit when I was 10. You know what I mean? I might have been a sergeant by the time I was a teenager. I might have been a captain. I might have been a lieutenant. You know what I mean? But here I am now, helping pushing the culture forward, helping people stay aware, helping people stay abreast. You know, I had a disagreement with a young woman on Twitter. I didn't disrespect her in any way, shape, or form. She didn't disrespect me. Her and I said our piece back and forth to each other, and we stayed very respectful. We didn't get angry with each other or anything like that. She said she got offended by what I said, and I stood on my square like, look, I mean, I ain't apologize because I didn't say nothing directly to her. What I was talking about was how I didn't believe the narrative that black people were dying at a higher rate due to the COVID-19. I think they're dying because of other reasons, but it ain't the COVID-19 that's killing them. It's the fucking healthcare system that's killing them. The racist, anti-black healthcare system, especially women. We already know that. That's how generals move. Generals don't get emotional. We stay logical and we stay on our square, and we do not pivot for anyone. Unless we are wrong, we admit that we're wrong, we get informed, we get educated, and we keep pushing forward. So, I'm going to give you a few things to ask yourself to find out if you're a general or if you're a soldier. Do you keep your foot on the neck of anti-black racism? Did it take for Donald Trump to wake you up, or were you already awakened? How important is it for your children to be aware? How important is it for you to have an operating system within your own household? Do you have an operating system in your own household based on the protection of your entire family? Do you have guns and ammo to protect you and your entire family in case shit falls down? Ask yourself those questions, and you will realize very quickly if you're a soldier or if you're a general. I appreciate y'all tuning in this week, man. Make sure y'all tune in each and every week. Please share the podcast. I know I'm just coming around with episodes. I'm not going to put a day in particular that I'm doing a show. I'm just going to give y'all one within 7 days of each other. It's that simple. I'm going to give you an episode every week. And honestly, I might start picking up and do more episodes more often because I really like talking to y'all. And once the information comes to my head, I like to make sure I share it with y'all. It's that simple. It really is. So with that being said, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. It's really Marv. Make sure you share. Please go to YouTube, ML Crittenden. Go on YouTube, please. And please share, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Drop comments. I need those. Let's get that algorithm up. We got to get the algorithm up so we can get the message out. And the only way we can do that is one by one. Be the first person. Don't be scared. Be the first person to do that for me. Help me out, and you're going to see us all elevate. All right? I'm out. Peace.